welcome along to the Supporters Club. We've got a great lineup again for you to discuss all things Arsenal. Of course, the legend is in the building, Chris Hudson. As I said, emerging legend, Matt in the building. Big up to the two Jacks. Jack 1, if you have to do a tie here, Jack 1, Jack 2, you know what I mean, right? But big up the two Jacks in the building. Dylan, great to have you along. And Ryan, bringing a bit of controversy to things, as always. He's in the building as well. But guys, what I wanted to discuss on this one is that, listen, Arsenal, top of the league, being talked up now. Talked up in ways that I've not heard us being talked up in a while, because at the start of the season, I think everybody was saying, yeah, Liverpool, they're the favourites to win it. When they saw the signings they made in Havertz, in Isak, Ekitike, you know, the two fullbacks that they signed, a lot of people were like, yeah, they're champions already, and they've done that. It's done, right? Now, all of a sudden, a lot of people are changing their minds and saying, well, actually, when you look at that Arsenal squad, it's unreal. We've gone top of the league, only by 1 point, but we're top of the league. Are Arsenal now the favourites to win the league? Because a lot of pundits now have changed their opinions and are saying that they feel it's Arsenal. They feel it's Arsenal over Liverpool. They feel it's Arsenal over Man City, right? Or is it Man City, or is it Liverpool, or is it even maybe Spurs with an outside chance? I mean, Chris, are we the favourites?
Yeah, I think we are, but I'm very wary of pundits speaking with forked tongue. 3 weeks ago, if you turned the telly on, it was Liverpool were going to win the league by 10 points. Remember, these people were saying Arsenal are favourites. If we have a couple of bad results, in 2 weeks' time, they'll be kicking us. So remember that.
Yeah, well, they were saying we were done after the Liverpool game.
Well, you know? That's why some of the punditry on mainstream TV is awful, but that's another story. And the radio, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So basically, you asked me, bottom line question, yes we are. Because our squad, I think our squad is better than the other two. And for all the amount of money that Liverpool has spent, if Van Dijk goes down with a bad injury, and for all the amount of money Man City have spent, Haaland's their main man. And if he goes down with an injury, they haven't got a replacement.
Yeah, and it's not just injuries, is it, Matt? It's like, we know throughout a season, it's the amount of games now you've got to play. You know, we've seen already a lot of players go down with injuries. We've seen within our squad, and maybe this is what Arteta's learnt, over the years, a player like Saka get flogged to death, Odegaard, and be out for long periods of time. So do you think with what he's done now, with this building this squad, it has made us favourites?
Yeah, favourites is an annoying word to use, because we drop to Fulham, God forbid, and Liverpool win, they're back on top, and then they're the favourites. I said it the other day, I'm going to regurgitate exactly what I said. I think the only team stopping Arsenal from winning this league is Arsenal. I think we've got the squad, we know these boys can play. It's the mentality, it's how do we deal with 3 games a week? How do we travel all over Europe and stay together? I mean, this is where I'll ask you, and you, unfortunately I'm not of the age where I saw us lift trophies left, right and centre. What were the vibes like going into games? Did you rock up to games thinking, right, we'll beat this team? Or did you keep a close eye on United at the time and pray that they drop points, or did you know that team was going to go up? Well,
especially the invincible team, I knew that I didn't worry what Man United were doing. And also Jules Graham's not the team that won at Anfield, but Jules Graham's 1991 team.
Yeah.
Once you went 1-0, we used to go 1-0 up.
Game over.
See you later.
But true, and that is true. I'm with you, Chris. Like, when that invincible season, every game I went to, like, I expected to win. I remember driving to a game, you know, in recent times, like about 5 years ago, and saying to the guys, I was going, no, look at this. Like, you know, you go to play like a team like Fulham, and everyone's like, yeah, I'll take a draw. You know, I was going, yeah, what's wrong with us, man?
Yeah.
You know, we never used to we remember that season that we drive there, man. We'd like, yeah, light work. Listen, doesn't mean you can't lose, but you just went there like, yeah, Fulham, light work.
Yeah.
That was how the attitude used to be.
Do you Do you feel that at all with this squad now?
Not light work.
You know what? Psychological. It's because of what's happened the past 3 seasons.
Yeah. But I do feel, Matt, though, when I'm going to games now, I've got a lot of confidence in me. Even the other day, Newcastle, even though despite how poor we've been there in the last couple, I had a very good feeling about that game. I was going there thinking, if we click today, we're better than them.
Yeah.
I've not had that over in recent times because I've been going, even last season, I remember I was going to City, I'm like, I feel if as long as we turn up, at the very least, we're not losing this game. Whereas a couple of seasons before that, I'm just like, we're driving there like prayers are going on, everything like secret prayers in my head because I'm like, if they click, we're finished. Same at Anfield, places like that. So I think there has been a change that way. Well, certainly with me. I don't know. What about you, Dylan? I mean,
in
terms of this team, are we the favourites? Do you feel like, a bit like what Matt was just saying, do you feel when you're going into these games, you go to all the games, do you feel confident?
It's funny what you said about when you drive to games back then or an XYZ. When we go up in the car to a game, the idea of losing the game never actually crosses my mind in the car. I noticed it a year or two back. We were just in the car and I realised we're excited for the game, we're excited to get there, blah, blah. We haven't even thought about the possibility of losing this game. So I'd say that feeling's coming back, but at the back of your head, you do also know what Arsenal are capable of now. But no, I think confidence-wise, every game we go into, there isn't a game I expect us to lose in the Premier League at least. There's the Champions League, where, if we were to come up against the top team. I think Atletico Madrid in a few weeks I'm worried about. But apart from, in terms of the Premier League, especially at the Emirates Stadium, there's not a single game where I go, no, I think I'm scared today. I think most games are, like we've given credit to already, the squad we've got now, we leave ourselves almost in a position where it's like, well, if we do lose, then something's gone massively wrong because we've got such a good squad and everything's in place now. So no, the confidence-wise, every game's you expect to win these days.
Jack, does the manager give you the confidence that we can back this up and be the favourites and go all the way? Yeah,
I think rightly so. Arteta's been criticised a lot recently for things that he's done, the not taking the handbrake off, but I genuinely do feel like he's learning. I think he did learn something from Anfield, and you see Eze's playing in the 10 at Newcastle, which I don't think he maybe would have had in his mind before. He would have gone for the Moreno, the safe midfield, and then we saw West Ham, he's got Eze, Ødegaard together, dropped Rice in as a 6, so I do think he's adapting, he's learning. It wouldn't surprise me, I know it was said on another show earlier that Madueke on the left, why not? Or Saka on the left. But it's something that I could genuinely see him doing. So I think he's adapting. Spoken about keeping players happy. We've shown that he'll put Mosquera in there. He'll put, Zubimendi on the bench. He'll move Rice around. I think he will keep the squad happy and he'll give everyone a chance. And he will adapt to different games, which is something he hasn't done in the past. So I'm confident.
What about you? Same question for you, Ryan. Mikel Arteta, he's got the squad now. Are you confident?
Yeah.
And listen, he's not done it yet, but are you confident now with the squad that he's got that he can lead Arsenal to a title or a Champions League? Or what do you expect us to win this season first, and can he lead us to it?
I think we've passed the point where an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup would be completely acceptable. I think they need to complement a Premier League or Champions League at this point. It's been too long, this whole process. Do I trust Mikel Arteta? Not fully. I do think there's a potential to be a great manager there. I do think that. I do think this process has taken too long. Also, it's things like going to Anfield. I will criticise that because Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong got out at right back. We had the opportunity to go at Szoboszlai. He should not have been at right back. When we put Martinelli on, who was not a form. People are forgetting now because he's come off the bench. But Martinelli is lacking confidence. And this is what's good about having players in each position now, because as Chris rightly said before, if Havertz was fit, Gyokeres would feel more pressure, and then they have to perform. Do I trust him? I don't. And just to take that back, in that 02-03 with even under Wenger, when we played Leeds at home, we've ended up losing the title by 5 points. That's the only time I really felt pressure. When we went to when we were in the Invincible season, when we in fairness, Perez dived against Portsmouth at home. Teddy Sheringham scored.
Got kicked.
VAR weren't there. I was there watching this game. I was happy we got the draw. But back then, I was thinking going into those games that we'd win. The only teams I was only sceptical about were maybe the bogey kind of teams like Bolton. But we generally were confident. I would go to every game, even when we're going away to Old Trafford, I thought we'd go and win. I don't feel that under this manager at all. I don't think he'll get off the line.
What about you, Jack?
I mean, I'm confident, and that's crazy saying that considering we're going up against a team that broke the British transfer record twice in one summer, that we're all sat in here thinking we should win this.
We spent a fair bit of quid as well.
Of course, we have spent money as well. But I think going back to the point of our compared to the Invincibles era and the early on era, I think now what Pep Guardiola's done to the league is where you can probably lose, 3-4 games? That's it. If you lose more than that, I think maybe Liverpool might have lost 5 one season, but as soon as you lose 1 or 2 games, you're thinking, we can only lose 2 more, or we're not going to win the league. Where the points tally has been so high, you're looking at 90 plus for the past 5, 6, 7 seasons. I think it's at a point where no matter how confident we are and how confident we are in the players we have, it just takes 1 loss, and then you're sat there thinking, we have 2, 3 left for the whole of the rest of the season, with the tough away games you have to go to. I think it's going to come down right to the wire though. I think Liverpool and especially Man City and Erling Haaland, I think they'll have something to say about it.
Yeah. The football HMRC.
Have you ever heard me call a referee a cheat? That cheat in referee. No, I am. I'm calling him a cheat. I have to question. That don't sound like me. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to do more than that.
It doesn't sound like you. It is you.
That is edited. That's edited.
Can we get that again, please?
Yeah, play again. Play again. Don't forget to check out that Troy Deeney live.
Hold on, I'm getting. We do have some Robbie clips.
Roll the clips. Mustafi, it's done. He is an Arsenal player. Shedra Mustafi is signed for Arsenal. That's it now, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah, what's 2 more? How's there so many clips on me? At the pub, I was asking all of my guys a question. I asked it to James. I asked it to lead judges. Would you swap Gabriel Martinelli plus money to get the signing of Kylian Mbappe? They all said no.
When I was in the pub, I was never in a pub with Robbie Lyle. That ain't me.
I've never been to a pub with Robbie. I've never been to a pub with Robbie.
Up yours.
Will Victor Gyokeres get us the goals to win the title?
Well, he's got to get the service first, Rob. But he just needs. I hope people think I'm not because I put Havertz ahead of Gyokeres, because I really want this boy to succeed, because he really. You think what he went through to come and join us, but I'm just a little bit worried. On Saturday worried me against West Ham, because his confidence seemed. I don't want to back. Arteta said he put an arm around him. He's a battering ram up front. We don't need a battering ram. I want a goal scorer, and his confidence is a little bit low, Rob. So what I'm saying, I'm trying to be nice to him, but I still would put Havertz in front of him. Sorry.
I think that's a fair point, because I think the whole argument over in the summer was, are we going to go Gyokeres or Sesko? And the sort of consensus was, we're going to pick Gyokeres because he's more proven. He's going to come in, maybe get and gel with the team quicker. He's there for the goals. And now we're sat here thinking, he needs some time. We need Havertz to come back. We need to take him out. And I think if we were going to do that, why didn't we go for Sesko if we wanted a young and more upcoming striker, etc.? We brought Gyokeres in to deliver straight away. That's what Arteta wanted.
I like Gyokeres. I like the fact that
I don't dislike.
I like the fact that he's a disruptor in our team. I think that he's bringing players. Yeah. All right, maybe he's not getting the. And by the way, he has got 3 goals, so he's not like he ain't scored any. But he also, because he is such a focus now, and he's, teams know he's a threat. They're having to you can't just say, right, we're gonna. I think you can deal with Havertz one-on-one. I think with Gyokeres, you've got to have 2 centre-backs on him.
Yeah. Wouldn't you argue with Havertz? So just to counter what you're saying about Gyokeres, Havertz has never been a striker. Even at Chelsea, he won them the Champions League, fair enough. But he's never. I just think no, you're not wrong. Look, he needs the pressure. I'm completely agreeing with you. But Havertz, again, he's had consistency up front for Arsenal, playing that position, being shoehorned into it. So again, if we start to go back to that, which I'd understand to a degree because Gyokeres needs that pressure, wouldn't that again just be reverting back to...
I'm quite excited to see Havertz with Eze, Zubimendi in a more creative midfield.
Yeah, he'd be better.
Havertz, let me tell you, he leads the line for Germany. I mean, they all love him.
Will he get you the goals though?
Yeah, well, I'm a big Havertz fan, Rob. Yes, you know what I mean.
All right, let me ask Matt then. Gyokeres, can he get 20 goals this season for Arsenal?
I think he can. Honestly, it really annoys me You wonder why players like Isak and Trent are, they don't care about leaving their clubs, because us fans, all it takes is 4 or 5 games off the team.
He's having a go at you, Chris.
Honestly,
I'm not criticising him. I'm saying he needs a little bit. Look,
it sounds a bit critical over here, Chris.
Sanchez, Ian Wright, and Aubameyang all hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But Bergkamp, Henry, Giroud didn't. Yeah. So I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying he possibly needs to be taken out of the firing line just for a few weeks and then introduce him slowly, gradually, not flog him like
I don't disagree with that.
But getting back to your point.
Yeah. I agree. I think he needs the service. I think Arteta needs to work on how can we get the best out of him. I don't want to see him at the halfway line tracking back and winning. I want to see him on the last defender for 90 minutes of the game. That's what he was doing in Portugal, and that's what he should be doing here. He's not an unbelievable footballer. We know that. Clive said it. We didn't buy him for his first touch. We bought him for his last touch. Look at the goals that he scored. He scored a penalty, one where we did actually put it on a plate for him and he slotted it home, and one where he created it for himself. I can't think of many, apart from maybe when Madueke slotted him through and he whacked the bar. I can't think of a clear-cut chance that we've created for him. What does concern me is how hard he makes it look to score. He makes it look near enough impossible to score. That probably is a confidence issue. But we, as a platform, this is a massive platform, and I know you're saying you like him. We've got to get behind him. Players will see this, and he might see this and think, oh my God, they're giving up on me already.
No, I'm not giving up with it.
The geezer's got 97 goals in his last 102 games last year. He knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. It hasn't started perfectly, but we've got to be patient, and I agree, Havertz has to come back and give him that bit of competition.
Are we playing to his strengths?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
What do we need to do then?
I don't think
does he need to do something, or do we need to do something?
Look, I'm not a tactical genius. Arteta knows more than I'll ever know about football, times a million. But it's not rocket science. Play him on the last defender and feed him through. And he'll score, or he might miss, but give him the opportunity to miss. He hasn't exactly missed any sitters because he hasn't been created any sitters. I think he can get 20 goals. If he hits the ground running when we're back, we've got a nice run of fixtures. I mean, every game's tough in the Premier League, but we haven't got anywhere. You're like, oh, needs to get a couple in the next 5, and he'll hit the ground running.
Jack, is he the guy for you? I remember us having some little debates, and you was preferring Sesko at the time. Do you stick with that, or do you think he can be that guy that can get us? He's already got 3. It ain't like he's not off the mark.
Yeah, and I think the criticism with Gyokeres is a little bit inconsistent because, like Matt was saying, like he's just come in and people are already writing him off. He's been to Anfield, he's been to Old Trafford, he's played City at home, he's played Newcastle away. Like, I know there's been a few. I'd love him to score at Olympiacos, West Ham. They're the games that he should be, the battering ram against the smaller teams. But when you've had that set of fixtures and you've had to play every minute because Havertz isn't around to back you up, you've got to give him a bit of leeway. Like, I genuinely don't think, I don't know what you guys think, in an ideal world, I don't think Arteta starts him at Anfield. I don't think Arteta starts him against Man City because he'll want Havertz to drop deep and be in midfield and be a bit more present and bring other players in. So he's almost been forced into games that he might not have started this early in his Arsenal career, and then being judged on what he's not done in that game that the other option probably would have done. So it's a bit harsh. The floodgates will open, I think. But
has Arteta been forced into playing Gyokeres up front by the injuries to Havertz, or has he been almost peer pressured into playing with a Gyokeres up front? Because I feel like my issue with Gyokeres, and like we've already touched on, the reason he's not getting any service is because we're not playing to his strengths. And I think Arteta hasn't set us up in a system where having Gyokeres makes sense. I think it's almost like the media, I know these, obviously a lot more goes into these football decisions and the amount of millions of pounds of these signings, but it's almost like he's heard the outside noise, we need a striker, we need a striker, not good enough goals. But we've looked at our best in the last 3 years with a Havertz and a Jesus playing in a false 9 role where we're not necessarily whacking chances up to a striker who's got to finish it off. We've got someone dropping deep who's very skilled with a brilliant footballing brain. And I feel like that's not the type of player Gyokeres is. I think that's more the type of player Acuna is that would have suited us more. But I feel like it's almost like the club have gone, we'll give him the striker, and then, you know what I mean? And I just don't think we've adapted yet. And I think that's the main issue with Gyokeres. I think his confidence is starting to fall off, not because of his lack of goals, but almost because the system doesn't suit him, in my eyes, as from what I can see from the outside, especially when you go to an Anfield and you play with 3 defensive midfielders and no attacking midfielder like an Eze who's going to pick a ball over the top like he did to Martinelli. There's no Odegaard or Eze starting in that Anfield team who's going to find the ball into Gyokeres. Who's going to find the ball into Gyokeres? I mean, Martinelli had a half 0.4 seconds to find him with one pass, and that was the only half sniff of a chance he might have got all game. And there's no surprise in that when you set up in a way where he's not going to get chances. And I just think that's the main issue.
I do think it's a system thing as well, like you're saying, because people have been saying that maybe our players don't find Gyokeres enough, but there's enough examples of Odegaard getting the ball for Norway and just slipping in Haaland over and over again. And there's been clips this season where Gyokeres has been on that last defender and Odegaard's not released it. So that, to me, I think is that a system thing, that he's not been told to look for that pass the same way he does for Norway.
I think playing for Norway, I think when you are Norway and you've got Odegaard and Haaland, it's almost like Odegaard and Haaland is the team. It's like it's you two do whatever the hell it takes. It's not, well, Arsenal, I think Arteta's got a lot more of an idea and a lot more control and a lot more. I think at Norway it's a whole different ball game, because I think and I think it also goes. It applies in the Premier League at certain points. I think when Palmer first signed for Chelsea, I think Palmer was Chelsea, and I think it was the reason he was picking up so many goals and assists and getting so involved was because there was nothing else going on in the team. The defence was a mess. The rest of the team was an absolute mess. And Palmer was looking amazing because he was the only hope. And it was let Palmer do whatever the hell he wants. I think that's what you find with Odegaard and Haaland from Norway. But I think at Arsenal, Arteta's got so much control and so much expectation for what he wants for the team that I feel like he's happy to see Gyokeres suffer if it means the rest of the entire team's intact, which I think it is. I think our defence is obviously one of the best on the planet. I think our midfield's solid. I think Arteta's willing to see Gyokeres suffer if it means we're going to look almost perfect everywhere else on the pitch.
Love that point you made there, and that's what I'm going to ask you two, right? And probably bring it back around here, right? Is that we're talking about Gyokeres goals, but is it really going to be the defence that will carry us through? Because we all know that to win leagues, you need a great defence. That Chelsea team that won that league when they only conceded 15 goals.
Yeah, but the thing is, I was on Sky, they was making a big thing about that yesterday.
I saw that, where they were saying.
But football did exist before the Premier League, because Arsenal's 1991 team let in 18.
Yeah. So, mean defences win leagues, don't they?
And without that, if you got a great back four, that's me George Graham head on in there, let me tell you will win the league.
Yeah. So we've got a great, I think that's not in dispute at the moment with anybody.
Yeah.
The Arsenal have got the best defence
in
the league.
A lot of goals. Remember that. Even though we had obviously probably Gabriel and Saliba will get ahead of Carlo Torre, but that back line was really good. We had Lauren, Sol Campbell, Carlo Torre, and Ashley Cole. That was a really good back line. We were just outscoring. So I'm just saying Arteta has got this. He has got an arrogance about him where Gyokeres, we knew before we signed him the type of player he was. We knew we had to adapt to him. Now, if you look at a player like Aubameyang, everyone was saying he was like Henry. No, Henry was more influential. Off the ball, Aubameyang could be, you've not seen him all game, but when he had the ball, he was scoring. We need to adapt the game to Gyokeres. And I do think it's down to that arrogance. This is why that it went between him and Sesko. Everyone's like, oh, but Sesko's this type of player, Gyokeres is this type of player. Sesko is, he's starting to score. He scored this weekend, didn't he? I don't think he would have been the right striker based on the fact that it's another potential, it's another process. Gyokeres is ready-made. Like you said, 97 goals. I don't care if it's the Portuguese league. Benfica and Porto have been running that league. Sporting have won that league because of Gyokeres. Yeah? Even when Amorim left, and obviously Amorim built that team at the time, they still ended up doing good because he built that team around Gyokeres. Yes, there has been some pressure on Arteta to, get a striker. But he went 3.5 years without one. I don't think it was that intense that he had to go and get Gyokeres. But we knew what we were buying with Gyokeres. And we're choosing, just like Dylan was saying, we're almost choosing not to play to his strengths. And we're, minus the last few games where he has had some opportunities, and you can see it's a confidence thing a little bit. We have isolated him, and if we're not playing to his strengths, we're going to have a striker that's going to look like he can't do anything.
Okay, Jack, is it though going to be the defence that wins us the league?
Yeah.
I think if we are going to win the league this season, it will be our defence. I know, just touching back on the Gyokeres Havertz debate, I seem to remember 23-24 season, that second half of the season where we're smashing teams 5-0, 6-0. I think we dropped points maybe twice in the last 20 games. Havertz was up front. That's the most goals we've scored in the Premier League history, I think, as Arsenal. That season, we've never scored more goals, and Havertz was up front. And the rest of our team was weaker as well. So I think the whole thing about why should we change a system that has got us so close for this many years to suit a striker that we don't know if he's proven in England yet. So I do think there's a bit of leeway on both sides. Should we be playing more balls to Gyokeres? Yes. But at the same time, I understand why Arteta wouldn't want to change the whole system around a player when he's already shown, okay, well, no other manager has got a team to score more goals than I have with a striker that apparently isn't a striker. That run there where we're battering teams every week, no one was saying, oh yeah, but we need a striker. I think the media narrative, like someone mentioned, did come into play a bit. I think it got into fans' heads. We need this clinical Erling Haaland-esque striker. But if you think you look at City now, I think it was said previously, if you take Haaland out that City team, I don't think they're anything crazy. I don't think they're the City of past. And I don't want us to become that where teams can just mark Gyokeres out the game and then we've got nothing to go forward with. So defensive stability, I think we keep that on lock. I think our defenders, once again, Jurriën Timber this year, I don't think I've seen anyone get near him. I think Doku might have had a 5-minute spell. Apart from that, going forwards, coming inside, getting back, I think he's been the key standpoint to our defence. Saliba, Gabriel. We've got Hincapié, he's not played a minute yet. He was amazing. He's a league winner by Leverkusen. He can cover on the left centre-back. I think we've got so much there that it'd be a shame not to focus on that rather switching stuff up for Gyokeres.
Defence is good. Attack is good. Midfield's good. We can win it. But who are the big threats? Who for you, Matt? I mean, we're talking us up. We will be. We're all Arsenal fans. But who do you look at and think, if they are on it, there will be trouble?
Liverpool.
You can't write. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Liverpool haven't clicked, and they will at some point. We live in a world now where it's so reactionary. They've lost 2 games and they're out of it. But they will be back in it, and they will start clicking. They will start scoring goals, battering teams, and we'll think, oh. So Liverpool are an obvious competitor. You're really scared about Man City, I know that. City are a great side with the greatest manager of all time.
And they start slowly a lot of seasons as well.
Yeah. I think the one thing with City, for the first time in Pep's dominance, they're too reliant on one player. I think, I don't wish an injury on anyone, but if Haaland was to get injured, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble because 90% of their goals gone. And like someone said before, he's actually doing a lot more than scoring goals. He's clearing corners, he's getting back. So I think that City are too reliant on one man. They are quite literally a one-man team. It reminds me a little bit of Van Persie, 2011-12. It's just all him. But they're a great side. I wouldn't write them off. I think it's Liverpool and City. And Liverpool, again, when I compare them to us, it's the defence that I'm looking at. One injury to Van Dijk, then what? Done. So I think we've got that. You look at the last 3 years, what's stopped us from winning the league? Injuries and a little bit of bottle. I think we've gained that bottle from experience and heartbreak, and we've also got the depth to cover the injuries big time now. So it's all about, for me, it's mentality. What scares me about City and Liverpool is they've got that mentality. They've got winners in their side. They've got plenty of players that know what it's like in May to lift that Premier League and Champions League. So it's just all mentality for me.
What are you so worried about City for? They come at our place and bloody low block.
Yeah, Haaland. But if he gets injured, then I'm not worried about him. But he's at the moment he's a freak of nature, isn't he? And I think he's got better.
Yeah.
He scares the daylights out of me. Man City could be stinking the place out, and you're watching the telly. Are they going to drop points here? Bang.
Yeah. Alien.
It's when these wise people are talking to you, it's true.
Obviously, I'm not so in love with Liverpool as a lot of other people are, because I think they badly missed Trent. And I'm glad they badly missed him because the amount of stick they gave him when he decided, I want something new. And if you heard some of the phone calls from Liverpool fans, I thought they were disgusting. So they badly missed Trent.
They miss his creativity, don't they?
The two fullbacks they got are a liability, especially the one on the right. All he does is get booked. The one they got from Bournemouth, he ain't up to it, mate. So, you know what Yet. But and I know someone asked me my top 4 the other day. You know who I think will come fourth once they get Vissa fit would be Newcastle. Because I love, the German forward they bought. I think he's a good player, mate.
Yeah.
And with their own record at St James's, I think they're not going to win the league, Rob, but it could cause damage.
That's the thing this season, isn't it, Dylan? There's a lot of teams that can cause damage. Spurs look half decent.
So he said Spurs as outsiders, maybe.
I can't say that.
You think Spurs?
He said he can't say it. Well, listen, they're third at the moment. They're 2 points off us.
The goalkeeper, Rob, let them down. If they were to buy a keeper, then I wouldn't be worried. But you know what I mean? I'll be like that. Yeah.
What do we make of Chelsea's chances? No,
what do you make?
What do you make? Champions. I don't fear them as much, obviously, as the Liverpool or a City, because I know they're capable of what they did against Brighton last week at home. But when you mention against Newcastle, there are teams like Newcastle about who are going to do damage, not necessarily compete, but they'll be the teams that take your points. So Chelsea have just taken points off Liverpool. Newcastle haven't taken points off anyone yet, have they? But Newcastle are a team that once they click into gear, they can, like you said, they've
Chelsea, Tottenham took points off of City already.
Tottenham are a team that are definitely in a transition phase almost, where I think they've gone from a team who I don't think their own players believed in anything about them, but I think now maybe their team's got a little bit more belief. I think, they're obviously not going to be title contenders, but I think they're going to be a threat. In terms of the actual title race, though, it's only really the three of us, isn't it? City, Liverpool and Arsenal.
You agree with that, Jack?
Yeah, and I think the one thing that sets us apart from those two that you guys touched on earlier is that we have different ways now of winning games that we didn't before. If you can mark Haaland out a game, you've got a good chance. So however that is up and down the league. If you can have but it can happen. He can have an off day, or you can mark him out the game. One of those two, you've got a good chance. Liverpool are amazing when they click, but they kind of have one way of playing at the minute. And if you happen to exploit that on one, they have an off day, you have a great day, you can get something against them. But with Arsenal, I now look and I'm seeing the roar around the Emirates when Saka and Eze come on at half time. You've got Madueke who can come on and win a penalty at the end because he's so direct. Gyokeres hasn't got the goal, so now Havertz is coming on to drop deep and completely change the dynamics. I think we can offer different games within games that the others can't do.
Is Haaland giving you sleepless nights as well?
Oh, 100%, man. We just watched some of the goals, just like he can bully you.
How many years has he got left?
He's 24.
10, 15.
Is it 10 now?
The way diets are now as well, and that's going to be a future. It might even go on longer, man. Doctors and medicals that gets all better. But yeah, I echo that. I think Chelsea and Spurs. I won't say Spurs. Chelsea are just on the. I think they're like top 4. I wouldn't say they're going for the title, as in they want to, obviously, but I don't think they'll be there. I think it'll mainly. I think you know what I'm going to say. I think as of today, Arsenal are favourites. But again, that goes game by game. Liverpool will be there. Let's not write Liverpool off, Because remember, Trent as well, when he was tracking back, he was terrible at that for Liverpool, and that cost them as well. As much as he was creating, Jeremy Frimpong, we've seen what he's done at Leverkusen. So it'll be Arsenal, City, and Liverpool, and Spurs probably top 8. I don't know where you got that they're going to be in the top.
Well, listen, I'm just saying that they're one of those teams that can take points off you. They've taken points off of City already.
They'll take points off you, but they're not going to be a threat at the top of the table. Surely.
Okay, what about you,
Top
Jack?
6 maybe.
Yeah, to mention Spurs, all I will say is I don't think they'll be involved in any title race, but I will say Thomas Frank is a very good manager, and I will give them that.
Yeah.
When it comes to Chelsea, I just think they're too inconsistent. I think they could turn up and beat a team 6-0 next week. I also think they could lose 1-0 to Bournemouth at home. I don't see enough consistency from them to actually form any type of challenge. Liverpool, I think they are our strongest contenders, but I would say if you go and play for, I know we mentioned our squad, but I think even our starting 11, yes, our forward line and our midfield might be very close, one of theirs, one of ours, but I think the gap between our defence and their defence is so big. Them full-back positions for them is such a place teams can get at. Like you said, Frimpong, I think he's a right winger. Gyokeres has not looked great so far. Calvin Ramsey, is he good enough? We're not sure. Andy Robertson, his leg's gone. When they start playing them 3 games a week and you're going to have to rely on a Frimpong to play 2 of them 3 games a week, is he just not going to be an easy target? Man City, I think it's just a Haaland show. I think their second top goal scorer in the league this season has 1 goal. So it is, if Haaland's not scoring, no one's scoring. So it comes down to that thing, is there going to be a hangover from the Club World Cup? You've got to remember that Chelsea, etc., City have played in these. Is Haaland, Haaland's also quite injury prone. I remember at Dortmund, I think he's had an injury every season in his career so far. Could it come to that Christmas? He gets an ankle, he's out for 2-3 weeks, and they drop 3 games, and then we're back, and then they're back down there.
Remember, they still got your Fodens and people like that as well, though.
We say Foden, but I mean, I don't think any of us have seen too much. He's looking a bit better this season. We got to remember that last season it wasn't great. I think Doku for them is probably their biggest threat, bar Haaland, and obviously Rodri went down out with an injury again. He seems to not be fully recovered from that ACL. Like I said, he got chucked in the Club World Cup. Probably shouldn't have done that, and that seems to have just came and bit them in the behind. But I don't know, City, I think when Haaland's that good, like we said, we saw Brentford try and stick a centre-back and try and man-mark him out the game, and he just throws him on the floor like an under 8 or something like that. So I think it is just, let's hope, like Matt said, I'm not going to prey on an injury on someone, but if Haaland does get injured, I think that'd be very beneficial for Arsenal.
Right, I'm going to put everyone on the spot right, before we finish. Yeah? What are we going to win this season?
I think our best chance is the Champions League. I think the way we play, I think our defensive stability across 2 legs, I think teams come into the Emirates, if we can keep a clean sheet at the Emirates and then go to their ground and grab a goal, especially with that Gyokeres offering maybe something a bit different on the counter-attacks now, where we didn't have before. I think winning the Champions League, rather than staying consistent and not dropping any mistakes for 38 league games, is more realistic for our squad. I think it suits us better.
Champions League. What are we going to win?
I'm going to start off by saying what I want us to win.
No, what we're going to win.
I want to win.
Listen, we all want to win everything. We all want to listen. No, you're not ducking it like that. No, please. We're not. We're not ducking like that because we all want to win everything. We all want to win everything. We all want to win everything. That goes without question. What are we going to win?
The other two could complement it. I don't think we're going to win anything this season.
That's what I think. What do you go to games for?
Why?
Because, I support the team, but I don't. What I want to happen, what I think are going to happen, are 2 different things.
Why? Give us your reasons.
I just feel like, look, I've seen the consistency that's been bad over the last few years. The Saliba getting injured was very unfortunate in 22-23, but again, we weren't
squad to cover that.
Yeah, no, we didn't. We never had squad depth. 23-24. If we had a striker that season, yes, we lost.
Got a striker now.
Yeah, I know, but let me. This is what I'm saying. This is why we argue. Don't let me finish. 2, we lost one league by 2 points. Had we beaten Villa at home, we would have won it by 1. But how I see it is, had we had that lethal striker, we could have won the league by 10 points that season.
Right, we've addressed that.
No, but that's my point. But whilst we're in this position, I still think we're lacking a left winger, and I do feel like the fact that Arteta likes to implement his plan A philosophy, there's no plan B, and it has to be his way or no way. That's what I think. So I do think it's down to the mentality of the players, but also feel like our management's going to let us down. So obviously, I want us to win something. I don't think we will win anything.
Okay, Jack, what are we going to win?
I think we win the Premier League and one of the 2 cups. With Champions League, I'm very much, I'll believe it when I see it. There's so many teams in there that even, like Liverpool can have an off season, but they've got European heritage. They've won it before. They're always going to be in and amongst it, but we haven't won the Champions League, so I'm never going to be like, oh, we're favourites, because I think having heritage in that competition plays a part. But why not Premier League? I mean, Ryan was saying about Arsenal, you have problems, but we've also just gone and named the fact that City are maybe a one-man team and Liverpool haven't clicked, and it's kind of, if it doesn't work, it won't work for them. So
their mentality, though. Their mentality
is
there. That's about we like
no
that.
team's perfect.
And obviously, Arne Slot still has a lot to learn. I do think he inherited a very good squad from Jurgen Klopp, so we won't take that away. But with Pep Guardiola, he's been there tons of times. And yes, he messed up last season, but that's what I'm feeling. I just feel like our management and our player mentality, like it's done before, will let us down.
Dylan, what are we going to win?
Big things.
Great answer.
Come join the delusion.
Oh, say it with a bit. Yeah, I mean, you're not really saying it with much chest.
I'm trying to think. I like the point that we're better suited to winning a Champions League, but I'd almost argue we've become suited to winning a Prem now as well with the squad we've got. Like you said as well, I think Champions League's I'll believe it when I see it kind of thing. I think we can win the Premier League, man. I think I like the idea of winning the Premier League and one of the two cups, but if I had to pick between what I'd rather out of the Premier and the Champions League, we've got to get that Champions League out of the way at some point. So I'm hoping on the Champions League, as that's the one I'm dreaming of. But I think we're best suited to winning a Prem now.
Matt?
I think we've got absolutely no excuse to go out and win the league this season. Couldn't care less about all of them. Just bring me the league. Bring me the Premier League. I don't want a double. I'd love a quadruple. But all I care about really is winning this Premier League, and we've got no excuse not to do it. I think we will. I think this is our year. I say it every year, but yeah.
Premier League will. We've got no hesitation. I think in May you're going to be a very happy man, mate. You'll be kissing everyone.
Flip it. No excuses.
You have cigars coming out your ear.
No.
Champagne bottles in flight.
I've never seen you that confident.
No, I'm very confident about this year, the league. And I might throw in a naughty little League Cup.
Ooh.
Just, you know why? Because I think we should. I don't want us to see us dissing the League Cup. I like to, because players that are not playing. Now we've mentioned players who ain't kicked a ball yet. Your Norgards and that. They're quite capable of getting us all the way to Wembley in that competition. Seriously. And Joe, it was good enough for Jose Mourinho. Remember, you put that on the sideboard in February, and all that. Oh, Arteta ain't won nothing. Well, he has now. He's won that in February. A nice day out at Wembley. Use that and go on to win the league. The Champions League, Arsenal's history tells me, no. Our record in Europe is not that great. So I'm Premier League, mate.
Yeah. I was just going to say, what's really made me think that this is the year is I'm seeing a lot of rival fans, Tottenham fans especially.
Getting worried.
They're tweeting, they're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to do it. And that's really made me think, if they think we're going to do it, if they actually think, they've looked at our team and looked at Liverpool and looked at City, and they will publicly admit that they are worried, then we must be really good.
Jamie O'Hara, he's bottling. Have you heard him on the road? Yeah, they're going to win nothing. They're crap. All right, Jamie.
All right, we're going to leave it there.
You've got to answer.
Yeah.
Thought I dodged it. No, I also think the league. I think we can win the league this year. I think we've got the squad. I'm with you as well that maybe something like a League Cup, because the squad's there to do that. Listen, cup competitions, it does depend on draws. It depends, because we can the next, say we get past Brighton in the League Cup, it could be hard. The next round is City away or something like that. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden that's a lot harder to win, especially if you're rotating and things like that. So you can never really. But the one that I look at and think I can look at and predict, that I think possibly I can predict is the league. And I just think it is that defence. I look in the Premier League at the moment and I think there's a lot of teams that can take points off teams. There's so many good sides. I mean, seeing your Bournemouths and teams like this. But if you've got a good defence, you're less likely to slip up against those teams. And that's why I feel that it's going to be actually that defence. We've got good attacking players, by the way, but that defence, build on that rock solid so you're very hard to beat. And then now with a little bit of added firepower in Eze, in players like that, those are what can turn those draws. Because remember last year, we lost the same amount of games as Liverpool. I know they sort of, towards the end, they eased up a bit, suffered a few defeats, but Arsenal last season, it was the draws.
We drew for fun.
How many games did we draw? Yeah. So now that they've got a better squad, now that they've got more players that can turn some of those draws, and you ain't even got to turn many of them, turn some of those into wins. That's why I feel we can get over the line. And the points that you guys made as well, the fact that with Liverpool, they're like a team in a bit of transition. They will get better, definitely. They will always still be hard to beat at Anfield. But I can still, just in looking at them, I can see more slip-ups. Salah's got to go to the African Cup of Nations. They'll be missing him. Then there'll be a little transition when he comes back. Is Isak going to hit the ground running? It's not always, we've seen strikers in the past who everybody thought, oh, they've signed him, it's over. when Shevchenko went to Chelsea,
Yeah.
when Torres went to Chelsea. You know, it's not always as simple as that. I just think Liverpool may have a little bit of transition, and like you guys all made the point, Haaland, it seems very dependent upon him at the moment. Mamouche is out. I thought he was, he would also have got a lot of goals, but he's out. So they're very dependent on him at the moment at City. So I think we're equipped. This season, I think Arteta and the board, they've learnt from their mistakes and said what we need is a better squad to cover off injuries. And it's looking like they've learnt, and this has to be it, man. Please. Right? And I will be kissing everybody for winning. But let's see. What do you guys out there think? Can Arsenal win the league this season? Are we the favourites, and can we win it? Or what are we going to win? What are we going to win this season? Let us know in the comments. I want to thank you guys. It's been a brilliant discussion as always. This has been the Supporters Club, and we'll be back soon.